All right, welcome to Access Module 4. We're going to go through the review assignment here for Access 4, making sure, of course, that we go to the blue page at the end, AC4-13a. There are some additional data files that are needed. So you're going to need your vendor that we've been using for multiple units, and then there are two images. So you're going to go into Canvas to download those two images to your appropriate Access folder. I have one for 3 and 4. So I will put mine in there for both of those. Be sure to download those and put them in the proper place so that you can't find them. Then, of course, we're going to open up vendor from before, wherever my vendor is at. I guess we were in here, so I'll go grab it. Okay. So I've got my vendor database open. At this point, we have two tables, lots of queries, one form and one report. And this chapter mostly goes over dealing with forms. This is the easy chapter, I feel like. It's forms and reports, making them pretty, adding color, adding pictures, printing them, resizing things, and adding some conditional formatting. So it should be a pretty simple chapter. Okay, so the first thing that they're going to have us to do is use the form wizard to create a form based on the product table. So we'll go to create. We're going to go to form wizard. The form tool, which is if you just hit this button, just automatically generates a form. The form wizard is going to give you step by step, and you hit next as you go from one to the next. It tells us to select all fields, so use the bottom arrow there. And then it tells us to use the columnar layout, which is what it defaulted to for me, and then you would name it product data as indicated. It comes up and looks like this, which is kind of boring. And then they do have us to try to doll this thing up a little bit. So we want to look at your views. This is in form view. So form view is where you would edit data. So this is where we would type into boxes and stuff. To make it pretty, we have to deal with either layout or design view. And I don't think the book really gets into design view. That's this crazy looking view here. However, I sometimes like design view because there is a ruler in design view. So you can kind of see exactly where certain things are numerically. In layout view, there is no ruler. Now, if you have your property sheet open, which I have to be under the design tab to bring that up, then you can have measurements for like the widths or the top edge of something or the left edge of something over in the property sheet. So you do have that option. I think the book generally deals with layout view for these. So the next instruction tells us to apply the integral theme only to the product data form. You have to be very careful here because under the form layout tools design, which is where we'll spend a lot of time here, there are the themes, and then your themes are in here. And I don't know which one is integral here, so this will take a minute. But the integral theme here, if you just click it, it'll apply it to every object in this database. And, undo doesn't really work in Access, so you have to be very careful not to just randomly start clicking things, okay? So in order to do it to just this one, you're going to right-click it and apply the theme to only this object. So that's a very important thing here on this particular one, or it will mark the other ones wrong. Okay, so there we go. That's the product data. So if we look at the supplier info, see it's not blue and it doesn't have that font. Okay, so it only did it to the one, which is right. Okay, instruction 4 says insert the support AC supplies PNG picture in the product data form, and we're going to be putting it up here. Now, the book isn't super specific about how to insert things. If you're clicked over to the side, you have the option of insert image and you have the option of logo. And most of the time, what I've noticed is if you look at the finished files, they use logo, which makes it tiny. If you choose insert image, it makes it bigger. So I'm going to choose the logo here and go out here and insert the supplies one. That's this one. And then there it is. It's just the same height as the text. Okay, now this is what's super annoying is you can't really move things around. See, look, it just jumped like all the way over there very well in Access. It's just kind of weird about it. So the next instruction under number 4 says remove the picture from the control layout and then move the picture to the right of the title. So when you right click the picture, there's a thing called layout here, and the way these are set up is they're sort of like tabular, so like it put it in this next column. they tell you to remove it from the layout, so now it's no longer like a part of the title. And then I'm going to use my arrow key on my keyboard to shove this little dude over here. Okay, so they want to move it to the right of the form title. And if I click on the form title, see there's the form title. I'll scoot it over a little bit further, like so. Okay, instruction 5 says to edit the title, so it's 2 words. You're going to double click in there, insert that little space bar to make sure that it fits. And if it for some reason went on 2 lines, you would resize out this box here. Then they have us to change the font color of the form title, so be sure you're clicked on that control here. And to change the font color, you switch to the format under Form Layout Tools. That's where your fonts, colors, bold, all that stuff is at. This is going to have us to use Ice Blue Background 2 from the theme colors. So we're in theme colors. We know it's going to be a blue. We have to figure out which one is Ice Blue. I don't even know because none of these seem to be ice blue. So that's fun. Good time. There we go. Okay. Ice blue background 2. So that's right. And then darker 50%. So it's going to be one of the darker ones. There we go. Darker 50%. This really doesn't look blue, does it? It looks like gray. All right. So we're going to click it. And now it's that color. And then next, number 6, resize the weight in pounds field. That's this one. So it is the same width as the units per case field value box above it. So not really sure why they're having us change that here, because they're both the same width to me. But the value box, this is the label, okay? This is the label. This is the value box. So they're talking on this one about the value box. So the labels are the same width, but the value boxes are not. So what they're having us to do on the weight in pounds is to grab this value box and make it roughly the same width. There we go. Okay. So again, these are your labels. These are your value boxes. Okay. Change the alignment of price, units per case, and weight in pounds field so their values appear left aligned in the field value boxes. Again, these are value boxes. So they want price, units per case, and weight. That's this, this, and this. Okay? And it says they want them left aligned. So you have a left alignment button here. You can also do it from your property sheet over here somewhere. There's alignment, text align left right there. So either place. You never really know how they're going to want it done, so I show you both. All right, that's it here. Then they have us to save it and close it. That completes instruction number 8. All right, number 9. Use the product data form. So we're opening a form that's already created, and we're going to use this form to update the table. So anything you put inside a form automatically goes into its corresponding table. So they're going to have us to use the find command. Now, we're searching for the word penicillin anywhere in the product name field. So that means we need to click in the product name field, okay? And then we can search. So use the find command. We're searching for the word penicillin anywhere in the product name field. So we're looking in that current field. And it says any part of the field. So anywhere in the field. All right, we're going to hit find next. And then we come up with penicillin injections. And it says we're going to change the price to $262. I guess our penicillin injections went up here. Okay. All right, so that takes care of that. We're going to hit X to cancel out of that. And then it tells us to navigate to add a new record. Now, I can't, for whatever reason, my little box down here at the bottom isn't going away, so I can't see my bottom of my screen, which means you're going to see all kinds of stuff pop up here in a second. But down here at the bottom, here's your new record. So I'm inserting a blank record. I'm going to hit this button here to go to the end. So see record 52 of 52. And then they give us the information here. Product ID, GA606. Supplier ID, CRO. That is an O, by the way, and then a 0. I don't know why they decided to do that. 63. Gauze pads, comma, 6 by 6 inches, $124, 1,000 units in a case, 19 pounds, temp controlled no, so we're not going to check mark that. Sterile yes, so we are going to check mark that. I just pressed the space bar there. Okay. And then finally, it tells us to use the form to view each record with a product ID value that starts with XR. So we're on product ID here. They're wanting us to view each record with a product ID that starts with XR. So we're going to be going in here. And if we had an XR, if we started with one that's XR, we could highlight the XR and say, hey, just show us the ones that start with XR. But I'm not on one that has that, so I don't have that option. You can go to Advanced. You can go into the Advanced one and you can search that way. That's much more complicated. The book gets into Filter by Form. Let me close this one. Filter by Form. And so in this one, you can find one that meets your criteria. Or in this case, I'm going to type in XR and put in a wildcard, which means it's looking for like XR. So it's going to be looking for those records that match that. So now I'm getting, I toggled my filter. So now I'm getting my filtered search. You can see there are 3 records that start with XR. Okay. And we've got a button down here or up here at the top to toggle that filter. Okay, so that's called filter by form. You can also just clear all the filters, but just know the difference between filter by form and filter by selection. I'm going to clear all filters. It didn't say we needed to keep those there, so, and then we'll save and close. Okay. Next, number 10, use the form wizard to create a form. So we're going to use the form wizard, create form wizard, and we're going to contain 2 forms. So we're going to actually have a form with a subform. So we're going to select all the fields from the supplier table. So shoot all of them over there. That's going to be our main form. And then we're going to pull some fields from the product table. It says we're going to use product ID. We're going to use product name. And we're going to use price, temperature control, and sterile, all in that order. So I pulled them over in that order. I'm going to hit next, and this is where it's like, how do you want to view your data? We're creating that form. Our main form is going to be the supplier, so that would be our main form with a subform. So that should be correct. And then we hit next. And then it's going to ask you what layout. The book tells you to use data sheet. And then specify the title, suppliers and products for the form, and then product subform. And they do take the space bar out here on this one, so I'm going to take that out on this one. Okay, I'm going to hit finish, and you're going to get a fancy little form here. So we've got, this is the form, and this little guy is the subform, because these 2 supplier and product tables have a relationship based on the supplier ID. So that's how we can see both of these at the same time. We're going to change that form title. Now I can't change it right now because I'm in form view. Remember, form view is how you enter information into a form. So I have to switch to layout view to be able to type and change things about the form. We're just going to add space bars and lowercase the a here. Oops. Suppliers and products, which is what it indicates on number 11. Number 12 says resize the subform. So this baby form down here is the subform. By widening it from its right side, increasing its width by approximately 1 inch. Now this always messes up people because they have no idea how wide it is. It's 7.1 wide, mine is. So if you're like one of those people who gets scared about it, it's going to be roughly 8.1 when you pull it out. So pull a hold of it here and just grab it. Oops. Click off of it and click back on it. Oh, well, look at me. Now I've got the whole thing out really big. So I grabbed a hold of the wrong thing. Let's see if we can undo. Okay, there we go. You have to watch out because you actually have more fields in here. So you have a scroll bar at the bottom, but visibly they just want us to see this much of this form. Basically so that you can see all the fields. Yeah, these are the kind of instructions I really don't like because they are very confusing. So I've got a hold of the product subform. See, it says subform here. So the subform width actually was not, it's at 6 now, 6.083. I don't know what it was in the beginning. There we go. Product subform. There we go. Okay, now width, 5.68. So, gotta really scoot this guy over. 5.68, so roughly 6 point. I mean, basically we're 6.68. It's actually kind of big. Anyway, we'll see if that's pretty close. Not going to matter so much on this one because we're not going to upload it to grade it. But as you know, when you're doing these in SAM, it is going to matter. So sometimes you'll have to go back and check. Okay, so we've got that in there. We can now see all of these. The next instruction actually has us to resize all the columns to their best fit. And they say start on the left. So we're going to go here, 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 and here. Okay, and now it all fits fine anyway. So, all right, it says navigate through each record in the main form to make sure all of the values are visible. And see, they're not, because this one is longer on this one. So you're just kind of going through. Let's see, I guess that's why they wanted it to be wider. Okay. So again, the main form is up here, so we have to kind of use it. Oh, there's another one. So there are some that really don't quite fit. Just keep going through these. We're just looking at product name. Obviously, we know that some of those. Oh, there's a price that's cut off. So we're going to double click that one to make sure that price doesn't get cut off. Yeah, it's kind of annoying that you have to go through all of them to make sure they're all going to fit. But anyway, okay. See, now I'm at that 6.87. That's a little closer to that other width. But okay, we're going to let that go. It says save and close that form. So that's it for that. Fun business there. Number 13, use the report wizard. So we're going to go to create and report wizard. The report wizard is going to be creating a report based on the primary supplier table and the related product table. So we're pulling fields from both again. Select the supplier ID. So we're going to go to supplier table first. We're going to select supplier ID. We're going to select company, city, category, contact first, contact last, and phone in that order. And then we're going to go to the product one. We're going to grab the product ID, product name, price, units from that table in that order. Okay. As we go through, it's going to ask additional questions. Do we want to group it or anything like that? You're just going to take the default stuff unless it says to do anything additional. So it's like, do you want to add any grouping? No, we don't. Otherwise, you would send one of these over, but we're not going to do that. It says to sort the detail records in ascending order by product ID. So we're going to come here and grab product ID, leave it at ascending. That's A to Z. Choose the outline and portrait. So outline here and portrait here. Orientation, and then next, and then we're going to specify the title. This title is going to be Products by Supplier in this way. We're going to hit Finish so we can preview it. All right, so now we see it. Now we're going to edit it. Now remember, when you create reports, because this is a report, when you create reports, they come up in print preview. I don't know why, but they always come up in print preview. So we have to get out of print preview to start working on this. It wants to go to the crazy looking view, which is not my favorite. So let's go ahead and pop into layout view, which is easier to edit from. The next instruction says we're going to modify the title. So again, we're going to put this in normal case with the by not capitalized and space bars where they go. Then they're going to have us to apply the Ion theme. Remember, you must go to Design to get to Themes. They want it to only this report. So we got to go find our Ion theme, right-click it, and apply it to only this object. Notice, of course, that we've got some issues now here. The report title isn't all fully displayed. So under 16, number 16, they have you to fix those types of things. So we're fixing that to the width that it needs to be. It says to fix the report title, move the product name field label. So product name, that's this, that's the label. Okay, these are the values. This is the label. It says move the product name field label and field value box. So both. So I need to grab a hold of both. I'm holding Shift. to the right a bit. Oh, that's fun instruction. To the right a bit. Be sure not to move them too far so the longest product name will still be completely visible. Okay, so I'm just going to take my arrow keys on my keyboard and scoot these over. See how I'm scooting it over? They're moving. Okay, like so. It doesn't tell us how much on this, so we really don't know. Scoot it over a little bit more. Okay, then the next instruction says resize the product ID field label. So that's this. We can't even see the word ID on here, so that's why they're having us size this out. Product ID field label from the right side, increasing its width slightly so the label is fully displayed. Then it says move the units per case field label and field box. That's this one because we can't see it now. It says move it to the right. It didn't say resize it initially. It just said move it to the right. So I'm going to take my arrow keys first and scoot it over a little bit. Then after we scoot it over, I'm kind of centering it almost. Then after we scoot it over, it says to resize it from the left side to make sure that it's fully displayed. So that one's kind of weird. They want you to resize from the other side. All right, that's all of instruction 16. Moving on to instruction 17, it says change the color of the report title. We're going to go back up here and give it a click. Let me go way up here. Then they're going to have us to change it to light gray background to darker 75. That's a theme color. So format, go to your font drop down. We're in the theme colors. These are the grays. So there's light gray, background 2. So that part's correct. Darker 75. So let me one of the darker ones. There it is, darker 75. So that makes it darker. All right, next, instruction 18. Insert the support AC items PNG picture. Move the picture to the right of the title. So again, we're going to go back to design, hit that logo button, go find that picture. We're supposed to move it to the right, so that means they're not going to tell us this time, but we have to remove it from layout. Oh, actually, it's already removed from layout, so I'm just going to take my arrow key here and scoot this guy over. If it wouldn't scoot, then remember you have to do that remove from layout, but see, that one actually was not connected, so we didn't have to worry about it. Okay, so we've got that on there. Number 19 says apply conditional formatting, so the category field values, so category, that's these, field values, are completely appear as dark red and bold if they equal supplies. So see, this one says supplies, that one says supplies, that one says supplies. We have a bunch of supplies all here, but then it switches to service. So they want all the ones that say supplies to show in a different color. That's conditional formatting. That's under format. So we're going to go to conditional formatting and create a rule that says, hey, if it supplies, do this thing to it. So new rule. So we're going to say if the field value is equal to, and I'm just going to type in the word supplies exactly as it should be. And then it says we want the font to be dark red and bold. So hit bold, come over here and find the one that says dark red. So there it is. By the way, if there's like already a red in here, don't pick that one. Always click the down arrow and then choose it. Okay, I'm going to hit OK, and what should happen when you hit OK is all the supplies ones turn to a dark red. But when we get to ones that are not supplies, they should be normal. Great. All right, instruction number 20, let me get that as save. Instruction number 20 says to preview each page of the report, verifying all the fields fit on the page. So that means we need to go into print preview and see what it's going to look like. All right, so we want to make sure all the fields are fitting on the page. Again, I'm going to have to pull down here so I can see. We'll hit next, 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 next. All right, so it's not making anything go on 2 pages, which it shouldn't, but it's having us to double check it. We're also making sure nothing's getting cut off anywhere. But it looks like we've got all of our words showing up. I don't see any headings that are getting cut off. We don't say, oh, no, here I do see one, this one right here. So where it says product name and the green. So if that's the case, you're going to go back into the view, and you can do it from in here too, and we want to make sure those are not getting cut off, and they're getting cut off because of this price, which is what they were saying, you know, we had to worry about when we were scooting those over earlier. So I need to scoot that back. I went too far. Okay, there we go. I can't remember. I think we moved them together, so I better move that too. All right, so just double check to make sure nothing's getting cut off. Oh, there we go again. Scoot that one over too. Just want to make sure everything is fitting. Okay, so I think those are all good to go. I'm going to go back into print preview just briefly to take a look. at that. But basically that's the, oh, there's still one, green top. Heparin, I don't even know where that one was. Here we go. You know, it's funny that they made us scoot it over and then we can't even fit anything over here. Like I'm literally running into this other one. Now that's not going to happen when you do your SAM project. They're not going to have you scoot stuff over quite so much. More than likely they would also have you scoot your price over, but for whatever reason they just didn't on this one. I would have made this price thing skinnier, which is what I'm going to cheat and do right now to make these fit. Since this one's not one that you're gonna, this is just a screen check, so you won't be uploading it. But we do want to make sure that we can visibly see all of our data. There we go. Okay, that's pretty much it. It says save the report, and it would say print only the first page. So in order to print, we would have to go back into print preview, and then there are certain ways to print things. So if we were printing, so if I go in here to print, if I was printing just one page of something, then I would have to go into the print properties and I would have to tell it to just print the first page. Now the way they're going to have you do this in here, we'll use the setup. Well, no, we can't use the setup button in here. We're going to go to the file print button. Usually they put that into print preview and then you can choose to print to the page, but it doesn't look like it's wanting to go from in here. With the forms, they sometimes have you to print the forms, and when you print the forms, you have to tell it to print like only one record. So let's just go to that real quick so I can show it to you. If I'm printing a form, if I go to print and print preview, it would print all of the forms. And usually we don't want to print every single form. So when we would hit print here, we could tell it that we just wanted to print certain ones. If I was in form view, like here, and I went to print, let's go here, print preview. My printing options aren't giving it to me, but you would actually click selected records. You would choose the one that you want. I don't know why. I guess the school printing, the printer is taking over my print settings, so I'll have to find out why it's doing that. Usually it doesn't do that. Maybe if I don't go into print preview, maybe if I just go to file and print. There we go. So there we go. There I can do selected record here. And same thing here with our report. If I go to file, print, and don't go to print preview, this is kind of dumb, I would tell it just print page 1 to 1. So, okay, well, fun to know that they did that to us, but at least it's something we can fix. So print preview is not going to do it for you on the instructions to print. So if I tell you to print only one record or to print only one page, be sure you just go to file, print, print, and then use the proper buttons right here. All right, that's pretty much it. This one was kind of long. Sorry about that. Remember, we always compact and repair the database. That closes all open objects and make sure that it doesn't save with errors. And then there you go. So that is Access 4.